Bienvenido, Iván Emilio, to Farandoleo 411. We've known each other for years, but I don't think we ever officially did an
We've never
interview.
done this. It's so funny. I feel like I never thought of it, even though we could have done it years ago
It's like
in person.
it's like it never clicked. Like it was kind of like when I was working with Yandel, and I already had, like, I was already doing interviews, and then one day se me prendió el bombillo, and I was like, wait a minute, I have access to him, and I've never done an interview with him. And we planned it several times, but it kind of sucks that it never really happened. But when I realized it, I told him, I was like, yo nunca te he entrevistado. Like, I have access to you, and I've never interviewed. And he's like, como que le entró. He was like, wait, you're right. Like, we've never done it. So we planned it a few times. Never happened, but whatever.
It's maybe fine. I feel like maybe it's sometimes good because you kind of like disconnect your work with your life.
Totally. Totally. So, bueno, contigo nunca se me había ocurrido until now because you have a big announcement. I want you to tell me that here. En exclusiva, I know that you announced it yesterday on your Instagram, so all of your Instagram followers already know, but whoever's watching you here that maybe doesn't follow you on Instagram, which they need to follow you, danos la primicia. What's going on with you?
See, you are the first press I do, so... yes, so I have the announcement is that I will be doing live shows every Monday.
You're so funny, oh my god. Hey, no lo vi ahí? Hi there, my name is Iván Emilio. You might recognize me as the very Puerto Rican and handsome guy on Pero Like. And yes, that's me. You see me? You see me right there? Throughout the years, I've interviewed countless celebrities such as Maluma, Bad Bunny, Nicky Jam, Karol G, El Alfa, CNCO, Leslie Grace, Anita, Sebastian Yatra.
I think we get it.
Oh, okay. I've also met incredible people such as artists, influencers, singers, my Postmates delivery person, and everything in between. So I would like to invite them into my home virtually for now because pandemic. I would like to also cordially invite you to Iván Emilio and Amigos, going live every Monday night. So put it in your calendar. You do not want to miss this. Que la que hay.
Starting February 8th, I'll be doing live shows, and it's been something that I've been wanting to do all quarantine, but I feel like it got a lot to get used to, you know, everything I was doing and work and personal life and all that. And I feel like now is the moment that I'm able to get some help with the channel and revamp everything. And I've met so many people along the way that I'm really excited to kind of bring them into my home and be able to ask questions that I've been wanting to know. That I don't have to like go through people to clear questions out, or do fun segments with some of my friends and all that stuff. So it's gonna be you know, like a virtual party, a virtual house party in a way, and it's gonna be really fun. I'm really excited, and my first guest is already scheduled. It's your favorite. It's your favorite TikToker.
Carlos!
Yes. So yeah, Carlos is gonna be our first guest. He's super pumped. And then Gabriela Short, aka Salty Curls, she's gonna be we're joking that she is the Higgins to my Fallon. Like, she's gonna be kind of like my co-host in a way. So there's a lot planned. But what I love the most is that it's gonna be like live. So I'm not gonna like edit out anything. And it's also me using kind of a software that I recently discovered and I fell in love, and I'm gonna be kind of like producing it as I go. So let's see how that goes.
That's gonna be fun. So you're starting live on Monday, February the 8th. Where can they watch it? Is it Facebook and YouTube you mentioned?
Yes, so it's gonna be live on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. So you can pick whatever you like the best. And then they're gonna stay there recorded. And the plan is to then pick the plan is to then pick the best parts of the show and put them as tiny clips throughout the week.
I like that.
Recycle that content.
Yeah. No, it's great. I like that idea. So you announced it yesterday on Instagram. What did your followers say?
Everyone's super excited. I feel like everyone who has like gave me a feedback, they're all like, it's about time. We've been waiting for this. Like, this is the type of content we need. So I'm really excited. I knew that I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I knew that there were people kind of wanting this. So I just had to wait for the best moment, and it's now starting the year fresh.
And I think that you and I had mentioned it on one occasion when we talked, when we were talking about your social. I think you mentioned it once. So when you came out with it yesterday, I was like, yes, finally. Like,
Yes.
what
So
we
I
needed.
remember so listen, we've never aired any of our interviews, but we did had a Zoom conversation a few months ago.
Remember? It was
Yeah.
almost like an hour long. We recorded it, but we never aired it. So I think
We
it was
never
during
did
that time.
anything.
Yeah, I think it was during that time that we talked about it. And I know that you had mentioned you wanted to do it. So yesterday when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, finally, it's going to be so amazing. So you're going to be incorporating like interviews, comedies, maybe sketches. Like what else can we expect? Is it going to be like, are you going to have musical artists? Or like, what do you plan to do with in regards to like the artists that you're going to have? Invitados.
Yeah. So basically, I love the whole concept of late night television. So everything that kind of involves that, I'm a super big fan of. So yeah, you can expect obviously like the typical interview, but then also we're gonna play games with the guests. We're gonna do some skits that some will be kind of like done live, which is gonna be fun to do like virtually, and then others, if possible, we'll do them like pre-taped, and then I have the capability of like adding that into the show and showing it, kind of like premiering it as well. So it's gonna be a mixture of all. I feel like at first I will start with everything virtual and just to play around with the whole concept of virtual interviewing and doing videos like that. But yeah, we're gonna implement skits, games, interviews, and all that in between.
And that was actually my next question, that I'm assuming everything's going to start virtual, but then is your plan to, when we get back to normal, in a sense, maybe have these guests over at your house and have them do the stuff physically there, or the interviews physically there?
Listen, yeah, that's like the big goal. My plan is to start it like that, and then hoping it gets some momentum and people will love it, and then also receive the feedback from the audience and go from there. But yeah, that's the plan, is to have a guest actually physically that time, in my home or wherever it is that I'll be filming. But yeah, that's the plan, and I feel like it's gonna bring there's unfortunately there's like some chemistry and vibe that is kind of lost when you're doing virtual interviews or virtual shows and stuff. So I'm excited to hopefully in sometime in the future be able to bring that back physically.
Yeah, no, I miss actually the interviews, and because we both pre-pandemic used to do interviews in person all the time, and it's like I tell people all the time when I interview them, I'm like, I miss that little like chispa que se da when you're doing an in-person interview. I feel like you sometimes connect with the person a little bit more. And I feel like sometimes over Zoom, like, yeah, you can get along and whatnot, pero como que alguna vez se falta like that little chispa, like that little like chemistry that sometimes you have when it's in person. But luckily we've been able to continue doing interviews, which aren't as fun when
they aren't as fun and
you do them over Zoom. Pero ni modo, es lo que nos tocó. It's what we've had to do. And luckily we haven't lost any interviews because of that. We were able to kind of pivot and do that now. So
and in a way, sorry, I just wanted to add that in a way, it's also been kind of helpful if you look at it another positive way, because for example, for Buzzfeed Pero Like, I interviewed, for example, Gloria Estefan, and she was literally sitting in her couch in her home in Miami, and I was in my apartment in Los Angeles, and we did an excellent interview. So in a way, it's helpful because you get access to a lot more people. That's what
I was gonna say. You get access for two reasons. You get access to more people for interviews for two reasons. One, because it's virtual, so it's much easier, and two, because everyone's home.
Exactly.
Everyone's home. No one's traveling. So I think it gives the interviewer or the interviewee more time to actually sit down and do interviews. So I think it's also, it kind of sucks that we lost the in-person interviews, but you're right. It has opened doors to us being able to interview people that we maybe in person would have never been able to interview. So that's one of the cool things, and that's what I've enjoyed doing, during the quarantine, that we've continued our interviews. Now that you were touching on Buzzfeed Pero Like, for those of those that are out there that don't know, he is also the Puerto Rican guy from Buzzfeed Pero Like. Tell me how that's going. Tell me what you're doing. I know that, you know, you're constantly working on sketches and videos and all that kind of stuff. You just got back from Puerto Rico. You were there for about 3 months. You were working from there. Esa es otra de las bendiciones que trajo la pandemia, de que you can work from anywhere, and, you know, you could spend more time with your family in a sense, be with them, but you're still working. You don't lose your job. So tell me what's going on with Buzzfeed Pero Like. Obviously that you can say, what are you doing there? And then tell me, I know that, you know, you're sometimes doing castings, right? So tell me a little bit more about that, but let's start with Buzzfeed Pero Like, and then we'll switch to your other career.
Sure, my other career.
El otro.
You know, because I am multitasker, hustler. So yeah, with Buzzfeed Pero Like, it's been very interesting because we've been working from home since March, and it started from us being, you know, like everyone, like this might be a week long or a month long, to it's almost a year long, and we're still here. So it was a challenge for sure. I feel like with the pandemic, there were a lot of shifts in social media when it comes to like the type of content people were interested in, the type of content people were not interested. Like at first, all we could do was Zoom interviews and Zoom videos, and then we started seeing that people really didn't care about that because, as we mentioned earlier, there's something that gets lost, and then also like it's not the most pretty, visually pleasing thing to see unless you get extremely creative with it. So it was a challenge to come up with ideas, and then we slowly started kind of like getting learnings and fixing those. Like we started adding our own cameras to the videos to make them better quality. We started kind of like using fun sets and all that stuff. And it was a process, but I feel like now we've gotten to a point where we're kind of evolving in a good way. And we are concentrating a lot more in shorter form content like TikTok and IGTV and IG Reel, and going back to Facebook, which was interesting because I've been with them for almost four years now in January, which is crazy.
Wow.
And at first, Facebook was like the it thing. Like everyone got their views viral on Facebook, and that's where the content was. And then everything went to YouTube and Facebook, no one cared about it. But now we're going back to the old ways of using Facebook first, and then we kind of share the content on YouTube.
The pandemic in a way has made us shift and pivot into different things that in a sense maybe we would have never thought of, you know, like you guys would have continued doing the same thing, and because of, you know, COVID and the pandemic, you've been able to kind of pivot and shift and find other stuff. And I think us as individuals as well, besides the work that we do as individuals, we've been able to pivot ourselves as well. We've been able to do things that maybe, you know, we had never thought of doing, or accelerated some of the plans that we had because we're like, hey, now's the time. And you're totally right in regards to the social landscape changing during COVID, because I think just the way you said that you found out what people like and what they don't like, you also realize that in a sense, there's more people to feed because everyone was at home on social. There was like 3 months at the beginning of the pandemic where no one was really working. I mean, you know, work from home came in a while later, but for the most part, a lot of people were home. Not doing anything. It was on hold, yeah, and their social was like their only salvation. So it's like, how do you feed all of these people that are now suddenly on social, which is good, but then at the same time, you're like, what do I do with them? Like, what do I give them? What do they want? You know, so it's kind of like, le tienes que ir pasito a pasito, trying to find what, you know, the audience likes. So it's totally true. Like, you know, social has totally changed because of COVID. So I'm excited for your show. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yes,
guys,
and then one thing that I also wanted to add from that is that, for example, I think you remember because you told me that you loved it. It was you remember when I did that monologue video, like
that you posted
at the beginning
on your
of the pandemic? Yeah. So I got a lot of great feedback on that, and that's one of the ideas that like really led to this new idea that is the show that I'm doing, because I'm kind of incorporating that at the beginning of the show. So basically all I'm doing is kind of taking everything that I've like, you know, released and people like, and like put it into one whole concept.
And that's awesome. I think that this is really going to be, oh wait, we didn't talk about your castings.
Oh.
Your other career. So
my other life.
yeah, your other one. But let's finish with this verse.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for you. I think it's something that I know that you've been wanting for a while, and I know that you've been kind of, kind of wanting to do that, but like you weren't really sure. And I think, going back to what I was saying about the pandemic, this is something that I think pushed you in a sense to kind of really make it, because suddenly you're all, you're working at home, but you're like, I have like much more time because I don't physically have to go anywhere. You know what I mean? So dispones de más tiempo para poder hacer más cosas. So I think that also pushes us to do, and for example, I say it for myself because, I was always, and I was always so busy going to press junkets, and we were always finding each other at press carpets,
everywhere.
red carpets, press junkets, concerts, like siempre nos encontrábamos, sometimes sin planearlo. And the thing is that no daba tiempo para poder hacer más entrevistas. So I didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of interviews for Faranduleo 411 because I was constantly on the go. I was constantly doing stuff, for something else. But now it's like you have all this time in your hands because obviously you're still working and, you're doing your other stuff, but you're physically more at home. So it gives you that much more time. It gives you also, it kind of pushes your creativity to kind of start creating more. So I think that was a good thing in your sense because it pushed you to kind of, move forward with this project. I'm happy that you chose the new year to do that. A lot of people didn't want to start projects at the end of the year. I was talking to one of my interviewers, one of my singers, and she's like, we were going to launch it like in November. She's like, but then we were like, do we really want to launch it at the end of a pandemic year? She's like, maybe we wait till January. So they launched it in January, and I think that that's amazing for you too. We're definitely going to be tuning in. We're going to be sharing about it on Faranduleo 411, making sure that people follow you and follow, the show. Does it have a name?
Yeah, it's called Iván Emilio and Amigos.
I love it. Iván Emilio y Amigos. I love it. So
listen, there was this, this title goes way back. When I was in college, my channel name was Ivalbino. That was a mix of Ivan and Albino. But then I started using my middle name, Emilio, more, and then I removed the Ivalbino part because it wouldn't make sense. So there was a point that my channel was called Ivalbino and Amigos, and a friend of mine did a jingle that was like, Ivalbino and Amigos. And I wish it would say Iván Emilio because I would be still able to use it. But I might have her do a new one because it was so
that's what I was gonna say. Just have her do an updated one. And I'm actually big on like middle names, so I like that. Yours is like Iván Emilio, kind of like with Carlos. Because I when I had the interview with him, I was like, is it okay if I call you Carlos Emanuel? Because a mí me gustaba más Carlos Emanuel que Carlos Calderón. So he was like, yeah, you could do it. So I'm like, Carlos Emanuel, Iván Emilio, and then me, Claudia Rebecca. I love having the middle name. Like it just makes it like more distinguished. No sé.
I know it makes it more unique. Yes. I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
So besides, the work that you're doing on Buzzfeed Pero Like, and now your own show on YouTube and Facebook, what's going on with your your castings and your acting and all that kind of stuff? What's going on there?
Yeah, so I'm constantly doing auditions for basically anything. So I go for both hosting things and acting things. And it's been an interesting year because I really started going full force in January of 2020 when the pandemic was about to hit. So like, I can't really tell you the difference between a non-pandemic world auditioning and a pandemic world auditioning. Like I used to do it before, but I didn't have representation or anything. So it was kind of harder. But I've still been, one thing I've really done is grown so much. Just auditioning itself has kind of been my master class in a way, because I used to go to acting classes and hosting classes, but then everything stopped. And I not one to go to a class virtually if I could go on physically. So I kind of like put all the classes on hold. But what I've been doing is like getting feedback from every single auditioning and self-tape that I do. So I give it to my manager and she gives me feedback. I review it. I do it again if I need to. And a year of that have made me grown so much professionally that I'm really, really happy, even if it's not like an extreme booking or anything. But yeah, it's been fun. I've been auditioning for a lot of hosting opportunities that have been really exciting. So just knowing that that's out there keeps me like motivated to keep like growing and getting more experience and all that stuff. So yeah.
So I want to ask you to end our conversation. I want to ask you, what is Ivan Emilio's ultimate goal in life, in his career? What is it, one thing that you work towards to every day?
This is like my answer that I have like recorded because it's my one answer that never changes,
Love
and
it.
that is that I am gonna be the one that comes after Jimmy Fallon in the Tonight Show. So I already know that once I'm like 40 something, he might be ready to retire, so I'll take over, and that's my ultimate goal.
Okay, I love that. I love the goal. I love that you're so set on it and that you have that as your goal and that you have that as your vision and that you've even calculated, okay, by the time I am 40 something, he's going to want to retire and I'm going to come in, and that you're working towards that every day. But the thing that excites me the most and gets me so happy about this is that you would be the first Latino to come after. So, and then Boricua. So I can't.
Exactly. No, honestly, like
I
I've
can't
thought
hide
about
my
that.
excitement. I can't hide my excitement. And what's going to happen is that when that happens, because we have to envision it and we have to believe it and we have to repeat it every single day instead of
You'll
saying
be in the first
if
list.
it happens, when it happens. Esta entrevista la vamos a poner, and we're going to play the little part where you said, I'm going to be the one after Jimmy Fallon to come after the show. So, te deseo lo mejor. You know that we see each other all the time. Bueno, we honestly haven't seen each other in a year.
Virtually, but
because
it's normal
of the
nowadays.
pandemic. Pero esperemos que todo regrese a la normalidad. I mean, we were literally seeing each other like almost every week. Si no era concierto, era press conference, era press junket, era red carpet, lots of things. So I do miss that world. I miss seeing you guys. I miss seeing everyone that we used to see, but I do wish you the best. We're always in contact y espero volver a verte en persona pronto. All right, so no se lo pierdan. Iván Emilio and Amigos, starting Monday, February 8th on his YouTube channel and his Facebook channel. Head to his Instagram. He will link it there. And it's going to be every Monday, his new show, live show. You guys got to tune in, watch it, support. And we will be there rooting for you. Y cualquier otra cosa que salga, you know, this is your house. You can come and share it with us. And we're really excited for you.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me. This was fun. I love that we were able to catch up as we did an interview. So we did two things at once.
Matamos dos pájaros de un tiro.
Exacto.
Okay, bueno, muchas gracias. Thank you for the interview, and I will see you guys later. Bye.